If there's anything that you all must know about me by now, is I hate to say I told you so with stuff. You know what I mean? I'm not one of those people who like to go around and say that I told you I was right when I was right all along. You know what I mean? But today we were looking at, well no, the vast majority of my day today was trying to get mass transit to work with Entity Framework Core with MySQL. That was a bitch. The bit that I thought would be easy was the hardest bit of all of it. I'd written everything else, all the Dapper stuff. That was really easy to migrate over to MySQL. That bit was a pain in the ass because there is somewhere in the middle of mass transit where it assumes if you're in non-optimistic mode that you're in MS SQL. And obviously the vast majority of the time you are in MS SQL, but God damn, I spent so long looking at that. The rest of the day though was spent, I say that, the very late afternoon was spent looking at an intermediate live issue that we've had for ages. A couple of weeks ago we went to a new hosting service, effectively, Google Cloud. I don't know why I didn't say that out loud. More or less, since then, you've been unable to get to certain pages because there is a chance that it will return back like nothing. So it will return back successful, but it will return back nothing. So it's basically going, hey, get me all my details, and it will go, you've got none. Which basically means that half the pages fall over. And you have to nest through 3 or 4 pages, so the chances of it hitting you were pretty high. So we investigated it. We tried to replicate it in all of our test environments. We couldn't. We flooded our test environments to attempt to try and simulate live load, even though we don't actually have that much load in live. Replicate it, couldn't replicate it. Anyway, we figured out that basically what was happening was the microservice was listening to the message bus, taking the message off the bus, going to the database, getting nothing, spitting it back out again. Figured that out ages ago, and I was like, right, our options are basically, we've either got a microservice that's talking to the wrong database, or something else is listening, something that's not basically configured properly, is listening to messages from the bus. And then you've just got a race condition of whoever can pick up that message. That was weeks ago I suggested that. There was a load of stuff where we were told to put a load of login in, and I'm like, I'm not putting any login in. I'm not putting any login in because there's no point, it's not running our code. If it was running our code and talking to our database, it's fine. We put tracers on the database, and the ones that fail don't appear in the fucking logs. I'm like, it's not talking to that database, that's why. How many times do I have to say that? Do you know what SQL query it's running? No, I don't, because it's Entity Framework Core. It says, well, is it right? Yes, because it works in every other environment, and also 40% of the time in live it works. So today we discovered that there is a legacy version of our application that was deployed to the new environment. We haven't used it in any other environment in long before I got there. We spotted it by looking at RabbitMQ connections, and we realised that there were 5 for this microservice instead of 3. And then I spotted that some of the newer messages that I've written, there were only 3 subscribers to, not 5. Some of the really old ones, i.e. the ones that are failing, there's 5 of them. For all the new stuff I've written, there's 3. So I'm like, there's an old app somewhere, we need to find out where. So we check the firewalls, all this, basically an old legacy app that hasn't been in beta and running for ages. Just kind of got copied over and just booted up. But, like I say, I don't like to gloat, I don't like to say I told you so, even when I did. I came home, had some pasta. Laura is at her end of financial year drinks. So I've just finished my dinner, and I freaked me the fuck out there. It's just a leaf blowing in the wind. Now I'm waiting for her to come home. I've already eaten, so I'm not particularly waiting. And I'm going to go upstairs and do some work for Alice to get some stuff set up, basically, in that world. For that, so I've been in the process. I'm getting back into doing to-do lists again. So I have a significant to-do list of things that I need to chip through. I've done that one. And I'm trying to remember to tick them off again. So I've reorganised my phone a little bit so that it's a little bit more productive. So on my home screen there's weather and utilities like maps and Spotify and alarms and shit like that and Google Pay. And I've got to-do lists, bang, right front and centre. And I've got calendar and productive things like Toggle, Tide, Asana, OneNote, and this new thing called Habits, which I've got some habits in there that I'm trying to like keep up. And the two ones I've got at the moment are Populate to-do list and Complete to-do list, because they're the two. Sometimes I populate it and then never clear it down, and then other times I never put stuff in it in the first place. So I've been doing quite well, I've been chipping through, but the things that I need to do the most now are I need to move some notes into Asana, so I need to set up tasks and stuff in there. I'm just looking at what those things are, and I need to do that thing which I'm going to do now, which is a spreadsheet. I need to do a spreadsheet. I love a spreadsheet. Something I'm not very good at is forecasting, and that's what I'm just trying to do at the moment, is just trying to forecast over like a pretty significant period of time, and it's just all like pioneer. It's the thing is, I live in that agile world where you just live a month at a time. Predicting what happens in this month is really easy. I can figure out exactly. I could tell you exactly how much money I'm going to spend next month, or this month. I could literally, down to the nearest £5, I could tell you. Likewise, I could possibly tell you for next month, but like in a year's time, it's a lot harder. That's what I'm trying to do, and I don't really know how to do it. But that's that. I figured it out. I've just been like making phone calls as well, living on hold. On hold. I'm there. I've just got the phone on loudspeaker. I'm just typing away doing work, and then it just goes, hello? You know what, guys? If Ecosia spent half as much money as they spend targeting me with ads on trees, I wouldn't be able to fucking move for them. They'd be everywhere. You'd just like walk out the door and get twatted by branches all the time because they're fucking spending all their money advertising to me. As I'm getting like more and more into stuff, I'm starting to realise just how much stuff I need to do that I don't like doing. Like networking. I hate networking, everything about it. I'm terrible at it. I gotta do it. I need to find more people like me. And if there's literally one thing I'm terrible at, it's finding and making friends. Legitimately. I'm a little hermit. Come to Bristol after work. I need to go to my office to go pick up some posts. Meeting up with an old work friend again, because that's what I do. I'm a bit of a socialite these days. I'm not very good at time boxing it when I meet up with friends after work. So I've just been told, we've just been in the pub that I normally go to. We had 2 drinks. And it's like 9 o'clock. It's like, is it 9 o'clock? So it's 9:15. I'm fucking starving. And it got to like 9 o'clock and I'm like, I think we should go. I'm not sure when your last train is. So, in fact, I should check before I said like, you ought to go, because I don't know when your last train is. Turns out there's at least one in about 20 minutes. I just checked, because if there wouldn't be one, I'd have to drive him to Bath. I couldn't just leave him. I assumed because he'd have to go back to Bath that we wouldn't be out as long as we were. But you just get chatting. We're just talking about everything under the sun as we normally do. I really like Sam, because we talk about stuff we don't normally talk about with other people. It's good fun. No, I just stood on a stone and it flicked water up at me. Gross. But yeah, so the big thing, we didn't really talk to each other that much, because my old job was kind of split in two. There's 2 companies, and he was mainly on the other half of the company, and then he like came to our side of the company as our deadlines got atrocious, so he joined at the bad time. So he left before I left by about a month or 2, I think. I was in the process of leaving. Words. So yeah, we didn't really get to talk that much, but the big thing we've got in common is we both went to Bath. But he went to Bath like obviously a couple of years before. I got Laura to put the oven on for me, so that I could have some garlic bread with my pasta. I've got to haul ass to get home as quickly as I can, so I can start the pasta in time for when the garlic bread's finished. Made it just in time, ladies and gentlemen. Garlic bread, crispy, nice and cooked. Got a pasta on, living the dream. Stayed up a little bit later, purely so that I can not go to bed having just eaten. But I'm going to bed now. Knocking my to-do list plans. I've had to reschedule my to-do lists. But I finished the Google Cloud function today at work. not Google Cloud function, Azure function, that is integrating me in from the service hooks. So I think that's done now, and I'm starting to look at writing a blog post, because I need to do that. But yeah. Oh god, I'm tired. So a somewhat unproductive day. Just a little bit unproductive. But it's been productive in different ways. But I was expecting to get back here at about like 7ish. So it was stayed out a lot longer than I thought I would. So the things that I basically planned, I've shinnied around. When you wake up in the morning and you're like, I don't know what it is about today, but I cannot be fucking arsed. I'm just not in the mood for anything today. I'm just like, oh, god damn it. I think, to be honest with you, like, going straight from work somewhere to get like drinks and whatnot, but straight from work and then like not getting back until about like 10 at night, that takes more of a toll on me than I think it should. I'm normally such like a home person, and like I like to be on my own kind of person, and I feel like that's what it is. It's like now I've got a significant amount of time where I'm with other people, and it starts to wear me down. I just kind of want to lock myself in an office and not interact with anyone, and I feel like today actually I do have quite a bit of interactions to do with people, and that's why I can't be asked. There we go, just psychoanalyse myself too. So that is something I try and do. Like if ever I'm like feeling it's called like procrastinating or feel like I'm in a bad mood, I always try and go like, but why? Why, Jamie? And then like try and figure out what the problem is so I can try and solve it. But not always possible. We had a day of refining today. It was refining. I fixed up my stuff for deployments, and then fixed up this other guy's stuff for deployments, and then just kind of left him to it. I don't think he actually did anything though. And then we did refinements, integrating in with the next part of the process, which was fun because we attempted to do refining without any idea of how this works. I'm like, right, so how does their API work? And they're like, so we think it does this. I'm like, well, that doesn't make any sense. Let's hope it doesn't do that. That's crazy. Should we investigate it then? But yeah, so it was good fun, really. It was a bit of a quiet day. It always is on Fridays. But yeah, so a bit of a quiet day. Otherwise, came back, and this is like the first night this week where me and Laura just like had just like a chill out evening where we haven't had stuff going on, because like Laura was doing stuff on Wednesday, I obviously did stuff yesterday. A bit of a headache for me there. So we've just been like fucking chippity chatting away. And that's basically all, really. Like the day just like went boom straight out of my mind. So I'm falling behind on my to-do lists, but I'll catch up. Got a nice long weekend, but I need a long sleep, and I need some kind of paracetamol because my head is starting to pound. I've been chatting too much shit. They started off with quite a late start. Laura got up a lot before me, and I was still in bed. Obviously, last night I went to bed a bit with the blind is a bit of an angle. Just trying to figure out how to fix it. I went to bed last night with a bit of a headache, and I slept into bed till about 9 o'clock, and then we had a slow start to the morning. But then as soon as I got up, I was like up and I was ready to go. I was doing work, and I got a lot of work done. Because of the past 2 days I basically slipped off my to-do list a little bit, because Thursday went way longer than I expected it to, and then Friday was Friday. But then, yeah, so today I managed to chip through most of that stuff, started looking at some new stuff, I had lunch, but then from that point on my headache started to come back again. And I basically just went back to bed for, about 4 or 5, about 3 hours. I went back into bed. I just kind of lay there listening to podcasts and like YouTube videos and stuff, and I fell asleep a couple of times. And I just had this like really numb headache. It was like I've got something in my eye. There was like just like behind my eyes. But it was like really just like numb, and like if I moved around, I felt it, but if I lay still, it was all right. And it like passed eventually, but made me feel unproductive today, and also bored. I've been bored out of my fucking brain. But that's that. And I didn't have a takeaway today. We were going to have like a barbecue, but the weather wasn't very good. Beth and Ben. We were then going to do a takeaway with Beth and Ben, but then my headache meant that we didn't want to invite them round for me to be there. Like, oh my god, I can't do this. But yeah, by the time we had dinner, I'd like started to get. Laura was thinking I was getting ill, because I was like really gurgly as well, like just my bed is just like turning effectively. But eventually, I think I got to the point where I just like needed food, and I just got the Chinese takeaway and just fucking devoured it. And now I feel much better. So I don't know what it was, to be honest with you. Bizarre. But tomorrow, hopefully I'll be better. Treating myself to a little ice cold ginger beer today. Been out for a really long walk, out in countryside. Somewhere called Castle Coombe, which we thought was just like a little village that like no one really had any reason to know about. But there's so many tourists there, like Asian people come in with like cameras, and like European people and whatnot. We're like, what puts this thing on the map? Literally a small church, two pubs, a little river thing, and then like a nice countryside walk. But in the country, like, it's just a countryside. There's nothing special about that countryside. But it was just rammed with tourists. Not just like us tourists, like we're just coming around for a little mooch, like proper tourists who would have to go a long way out of their way out of like a proper city where there's things like Bath or Bristol. It was fascinating. But yeah, we've just got back, had a little bit of lunch, and now we're waiting for dinner. Which I was doing, I am going to do some deployments. I'm going to deploy my first Azure function from Azure DevOps. It's only really a faff because at the moment Azure DevOps, it was just a little bit of fluff. At the moment Azure DevOps is designed to talk to my company's Azure account. I need it to also talk to my Azure account because that's the Azure account I use for local dev stuff. So like everything Red Spidery, like message buses and all that kind of shit is all there. Whereas my company's one is more with my actual website on it and all that kind of stuff. It's more production really. I could put it in that other one, but I don't want to muddy the two because technically that one would then be talking to that message bus. No one needs that. Deploying that function was actually a little bit fiddlier than I thought, but mainly because I had difficulty getting the DI working. So like Azure functions, you can obviously do a basically like a script-esque where it injects all the things in that you need. But if you want to use like a proper DI system or make your function a little bit cleverer, for whatever reason, then you can inject something in to do the injection basically. And I that was the bit that I was struggling to get configured. I was struggling with it, and it was erroring, and it looked like it was erroring because it couldn't get to app insights, and I was like, why can't you do this? I thought it was to do with the way that I was configuring it, the way that it was injecting it by default, and then I looked at it and I was like, oh no, hang on, it's telling me there's an error and I can check inside application insights. I went to app insights, I'm like, oh, I forgot how good this was. We have some dumbass basically just a dumbass system at work which just like scrapes console logs and then puts it in like an Elasticsearch thing. App Insights though is just, I found the issue immediately. No problem. As soon as I realised that that's what it was, not an error with App Insights itself, just say there's an error in App Insights, not an error with App Insights. You know? Whereas we had a cracking dinner, we had roast chicken, and the temperature dropped a lot, so we had the fire on. Otherwise though, I think I've tweaked like the back of my knee. My leg really fucking aches. Yeah, otherwise got that function sorted. So good. Yeah, I love function. I love serverless stuff. It's so nice, and you can do a lot more with it than you think you can. Oh, it's good. And that's the end of our bank holiday weekend, ladies and gentlemen. We have had a chilled out day again today. Back of my leg hurts. I woke up this morning, it really fucking hurt. But then like as I've walked around on it, it seems to have got better. We were going to go into town today, but didn't. Where she just went for a walk around the local area. Laura bought Sims 4 for Xbox and then played that, and then did a bit of work today. I have been pottering around the house and doing a bit of work myself. Been looking at just some standard stuff for Varialis, and then also figuring out why my service hook won't work in Azure. Figured out what the heck was going on with it. There's a couple of errors that I basically just hadn't fixed. It was actually with the code, not with the deployment or anything like that. and I actually realised that what I'd done was I've configured, I thought, by subscribing to an updated event, I'd get the created events as well, like you get updated with a created thing. I could have sworn I saw that happen, because I seem to remember doing an experiment where I subscribed to both events, and I got an event twice, effectively a created event and a updated with a created status event. But apparently I was smoking some kind of crack that day, so I just went through and set up a little to-do list of things that I need to get done. Speaking of which, I think I've chipped through all the things on my to-do list today, which is good. But I thought I'd end my vlog early because I'm gonna get these jeans off, put some pajama jams on, and then sit downstairs, watch TV with Laura with a cup of tea and stretch. And I also went shopping as well because it's Monday. Right, so yeah, that's that. I'll put making videos on my to-do list as well so that I catch back up on vlogs because I'm now 2 behind. But yeah. It's been a fun time. It's been a nice chilled out weekend. I haven't really done a lot. Just went for a nice long walk, fucked up my leg, and then just chilled out in it. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video, ladies and gentlemen. And I'll catch you later.